Professor John Evans Atta Mills, the scholar president of Ghana. John Evans Atta Mills, a man of peace, humility, and intellect. From the quiet classrooms of Cape Coast to the highest seat of power, his life remains one of Ghana's most inspiring stories. Today, we revisit the remarkable journey of the man affectionately known as Asomdwehani, the King of Peace. John Evans Fifi Atta Mills was a Ghanaian politician, a legal scholar, a professor, a taxman, and an economist who served as the 11th president of Ghana from 2009 until his death in 2012. He was born in July 1944 in Tarkwa, the western region of Ghana. He grew up in a family that valued education, discipline, and service to others. He began his schooling at Huni Valley Methodist Primary, later attending Achimota School, one of Ghana's most prestigious institutions. His brilliance shone early, leading him to the University of Ghana, Legon, where he earned a bachelor's degree in law in 1967. Hungry for more, Mills pursued postgraduate studies abroad, first at the London School of Economics, then at the University of London, and finally earning his PhD in law from the School of Oriental and African Studies, London in 1971, at the age of 27. By the time he was in his late 20s, Atta Mills had become one of Ghana's youngest law lecturers, inspiring a generation of students at the University of Ghana and later at Temple University in the United States. Although academia was his first love, service to Ghana became his calling. His political journey began when President Jerry John Rawlings appointed him as Vice President of Ghana from 1997 to 2001 under the National Democratic Congress, NDC. In his capacity as Vice President, he served as the Chairman of the Police Council of Ghana and the Chairman of the Economic Management Team, EMT. After the NDC's loss in 2000 presidential general election to NPP's John Agyekum Kufuor, Mills became the party's presidential candidate. And though he lost 2 elections, he never gave up. In December 2008, after a hard-fought campaign, John Evans Atta Mills was elected as Ghana's 3rd president in the 4th Republic, beating the NPP's candidate, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. President Mills described himself as a social democrat who believed in the concept of social welfare espoused by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president. His presidency began in January 2009, marking a new era of calm leadership and steady reforms. He embraced a political platform that was more comprehensive and less divisive than all presidents Ghana have had. President Mills inherited an economy facing inflation and global financial shocks. But through prudent fiscal discipline and a focus on stability, his administration restored confidence in Ghana's economy. Under his leadership, Ghana recorded one of the highest GDP growth rates in the world in 2011, a staggering 14.4%, driven by the start of commercial oil production and robust agricultural performance. Also, Ghana's economy experienced sustained reduced inflation rate, leading to the attainment of single-digit inflation of about 8.4%. One of the lowest inflation rates Ghana had attained in 42 years, i.e., between 1970 to 2012. As well as Ghana's budget deficit was reduced to 2% of GDP during his tenure compared to 14.5% of GDP in 2008, just before he was elected as the president of Ghana. He emphasized accountability and revenue management, especially in the oil sector, introducing frameworks to prevent the resource curse phenomenon that haunted many nations. Hence, the Mills government established in 2011 the Ghana Heritage Fund, GHF, a sovereign wealth fund generated from petroleum revenue accumulated from the country's oil and gas industry for future generation. Professor Mills believed that Ghana's wealth should benefit its people, not just politicians or corporations. As an academic, education remained close to his heart. His government expanded access to secondary and tertiary education, built new classroom blocks across the country, and increased funding for teacher training. He introduced a program to provide free school uniforms to deprived community schools, while providing over 100,000 laptops to school children to facilitate the learning process. Also, the provision of free exercise books started under President Mills' regime. His government also expanded the school feeding program to over 230 more schools and removed over 1,700 schools under trees across the country. The Mills administration started a program to re-equip science resource centers in all districts across the country. Also, 2 new specialized public universities were established during his tenure, the University of Health and Allied Sciences in the Volta region and the University of Energy and Natural Resources in the Brong Ahafo region, respectively. He launched the Better Ghana Agenda, focusing on improving healthcare, education, and employment. The Mills administration implemented the single-spine salary structure, which increased compensation levels of all public sector workers, a program former President Kufuor ran away from. In a bid to improve the efficiency and revenue collection system, Mills' administration established the Ghana Revenue Authority, which integrated value-added tax, VAT, Customs Excise and Preventive Service, CEPS, and Internal Revenue Service, IRS. His administration also re-equipped and retooled the security agencies, the military, the police, the fire service, the immigration, the prison service, and the customs, excise and preventive service, CEPS, all were taken care of. President Mills' administration also initiated major infrastructure projects, roads, hospitals, and energy plants aimed at uplifting everyday life for Ghanaians. President Mills kept his promise to run a lean government. The number of ministers was significantly reduced from 87 under former President Kufuor's NPP government to 73 in the Mills-led government. It was projected that approximately $4 million was saved annually by this bold decision to run a lean government. President Mills commissioned a review of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana in a bid to improve upon the country's governance architecture. He also held an annual media forum every year at the presidency to interact with journalists about socio-political issues and established the Media Development Fund, MDF, to promote media excellence and freedom in the spirit of 1992 Constitution. Mills's leadership style was very diplomatic, inclusive, and less polarizing than his predecessors. He detests corruption to the core. On a working visit to the Tema port at Customs, he expressed his revulsion at the level of corruption at Ghana Customs. Take a listen to him.
Upset, and I think that I should let you know. I was waiting for the Anas video to be shown, and that confirmed the reports that I've been having all along. This is the kind of behavior, this is the kind of attitude that you have. You are not helping us in any way. Indeed, today, I came to express my disgust and my revulsion at the way some of you are helping to erode the benefits that we are making or we have to give to our people. You are in charge of revenue. Every day we hear reports about malpractices, people collecting bribes with careless abandon, people who think that they are entitled to take bribes. How can we get rid of corruption?
However, one of the things some Ghanaians didn't like about him was his father, for all attitude after assumption of office, and his lack of persecution of corrupt predecessors. President Mills's emphasis on peaceful governance also earned Ghana international praise for its stability and democratic maturity. On the international stage, Professor Mills was admired for his humility and diplomatic balance. He strengthened ties with the United States, China, and neighboring African nations. During Mills's time in office, Ghana was adjudged the best place for doing business in West Africa and best West African performer in access to credit, according to the 2011 World Bank Doing Business Global Rankings. In 2009, Ghana hosted U.S. President Barack Obama, who praised the country as a model for African democracy. Mills's quiet demeanor and respect for institutions reaffirmed Ghana's place as a beacon of peace on the continent. President Obama advised Ghanaian leaders to build strong institutions, not strong men, and praised President Mills for strengthening institutions in the country. The BBC described Professor Mills' presidency as that of a peacemaker who was never one to make disparaging comments in public despite intense criticisms and vilification from his opponents. Tragically, President Professor John Evans Atta Mills passed away on July 24, 2012, while still in office, the first sitting president in Ghana's history to die in office. His death shocked the nation and the continent. This was what his Vice President John Mahama said after his death, upon being inaugurated in Parliament as the president. "This is the saddest day in our nation's history. Tears have engulfed our nation, and we are deeply saddened and distraught. I never imagined that one day it would place our nation in such a difficult circumstance. I'm personally devastated. I've lost a father. I've lost a friend. I've lost a mentor and a senior comrade. Ghana is united in grief at this time for our departed president. But his legacy endures, a legacy of humility, peace, scholarship, and integrity. The Asomdwee Park in Accra stands as his final resting place, a symbol of the calmness he brought to Ghana's political life. Many remember him not for fiery speeches or grand displays of power, but for his quiet leadership and his belief that politics should be a tool for service, not self-enrichment. Even today, Professor John Evans Atta Mills remains a moral compass on Ghana's political memory, a man who led with his mind but served with his heart. Professor John Evans Atta Mills, the scholar, the servant, the symbol of peace. His story reminds us that true leadership begins with humility. What do you think? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Bye.